in the For You page, I got this video from Rich Wed Witch Things, which I've seen a few of her videos before. Interesting channel. She talks about decentering men, and um, looks like maybe her philosophy on magic or witchcraft or something like that. I haven't seen any of that, witchcraft things from her videos. I've just seen her kind of talking to young women about decentering men and giving some hard truths and some logic to women. And this video was about some of her video series about message to young women. And this one was about men need women, but they don't need you. And she was talking about she got a visceral reaction about this topic because the women think they're. I'm just gonna paraphrase. I'm not gonna. If you want to watch her video, go check it out. It's a pretty good video. She's good at what she does. Shout out to Rich Witch who read things. I think I got it right. Um, she got a visceral reaction from women because they basically she's saying women think they're too special or one of a kind. She's like, that's not the point. Yes, you are unique as a human being, you yourself, your DNA, your personality, whatever. But in the relationship world, men just need a woman. And if you're not going to go with their program or you're going to be difficult, they can replace you easily. And yeah, they'll miss you and stuff, but they can move on. Right. So this made me think about, yeah, women, they do have, I mean, I'm just generally speaking, not all women, of course, I got to put that in there. They seem to have like a solipsism. I can't even say it, but like where they're kind of the center of the world of reality, main character syndrome, something like that. Like they seem to have it more. I don't know. It's weird to explain more than men. Of course, there's some men that have this too, right? But let's say men are more logical and they kind of know where they land in the pecking order in the hierarchy, right? Women don't seem to have this as much. And then she was describing the visceral reaction, and then it made me think of main character syndrome. It made me think of um, female competition theory, right? Where women are super competitive with each other, like like it's like brutal, but they do it in a covert, subvert way. They're not gonna fight like men. They're gonna use manipulation and sabotage and plausible deniability as their main uh, tactics for their competition, right? And you could look this up. There's tons of videos and tons of people talking about it. It's pretty wild because when you see it, you can look back at from the fourth grade. I remember this kind of behavior where the little girls would all of a sudden single out one of the girls and just ruin her reputation, single her out. And I remember us kids are playing basketball, and the girls are crying, and the teacher has to pull everybody in, and you remember stuff like that. And you can see it today. Like you have a cousins, aunts, you know, sisters that they will just like for 20, 30 years try to subvert and sabotage each other or one the other. And you're like, what is this? This and the girl will cry, why is she so mean to me and blah blah. Then you're like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the female competition theory. It's 100% true. They've done studies, and yeah, you can see it if you think about it. You can see it all the time, and you can look back and to your memory and look at your family, look at your girlfriend and her cousin and her wife and her sisters, and you can see it, the mom even. And I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. I was like, but this female competition theory, it looks a lot like covert narcissism, right? Sabotage, manipulation, subversion, plausible deniability. Like, isn't that what narcissists use? Just looking at the patterns, just looking at the patterns and what are the main variables that stick out with these two things. I'm like, whoa, this is kind of weird. So I started looking it up, And of course, Google tells you right away, no, no, no. One's an evolutionary survival tactic. That'll be female competition theory. And the other is a mental disorder, a psychopathy thing. But I'm like, wait a minute. They look exactly the same. Like, how can you tell the difference? Like, seriously, how could you tell the difference when a woman's being competitive and she's being covert narcissistic? Like, to the victim. Like, if you ask the victim, would the victim say, "Oh yeah, she was being competitive. I understand," or is the victim gonna feel like it was personal, like it was a personal attack, a narcissistic attack? I mean, come on. There's no way to differentiate this really because plausible deniability is a feature of both. It's a feature of the competition theory, and it's a feature of narcissism, of covert narcissism. So, I mean, these psychologists and psychiatrists, they could ask women, I mean, what was your reasoning for doing this sabotage? And she could make up a reason because plausible deniability, like you can't really know what's in her mind. You can't really know what's in her heart. So I'm like, wait a minute, you really can't differentiate the two. And then it says something like, oh well, narcissism usually ends up blowing, basically destroying everything. And the female competition theory doesn't. It just singles people out. I'm like, wait a minute, that's if female competition theory works perfectly, right? If it has an intended target, it sabotages it, subverts it, and then uses plausible deniability to escape accountability. That's if it works. If it doesn't work, sabotage makes a lot of collateral damage. I'm like, so again, the covert narcissist sabotaging causes collateral damage. The female competition theory sabotages, causes collateral damage. You can't tell them apart. I can't. I'm like, which one is which one is which? And I was like, yeah, this seems very very odd that they're really strict on saying no. This is evolutionary and this is psychopathy or a mental disorder. I'm like, how can you tell the difference? You can't. It's literally impossible because you can't know what's in a person's mind, right? So I'm like, this seems very weird that they're very hard on this, that they don't want to combine the two. But to me, it looks like they're the same thing. They look virtually identical. Like the law of identity says, okay, this is that, and that is this, or that is that. But if they look exactly the same, then they have to be the same thing, right? Like, I think they're scared to go deeper in this because women are very uh, guarded on their behaviors. And, for a long time, the patriarchy, hierarchy kept the bad things about people, men and women, down. They use the church. Uh, there was checks and balances socially because we were in small groups. It's not that easy to be a total covert narcissist in a tribe of a little bit of people or a small village. You're gonna get caught and caught out and caught fast, right? So, but now with enlightenment ethos and radical individualism, now we have social media where a lot of people, a lot of women especially, use TikTok as like their diary. And we can see in the dating and the divorce rates and the birth rate, we can see now, okay, this is like the female competition theory, female nature is actually playing out in the open now. Now we can get a good look at it and see. We've always kind of known men's competition, men's behavior because they're pretty overt about it, and so it was not hard to uh, like account for and guess and document men's behavior patterns, right? But with women, it was always very checked by other women, even and men, and kept to a minimal. But now it's just wide open. It's just out in the open. Women are talking about it. Women are doing it. Women are coaching about it. So like seeing this play out, like you can't tell I can't tell the difference. There's no difference. Like what? So what is it? It's either not uh, a competition theory, or it's not the narcissism. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It could be something totally different, right? That we just haven't named it. Yeah, we haven't categorized it yet. But it looks like it's more of a spectrum. Like, remember the autism spectrum? It looks more like a spectrum where it's, of course, different because back to the men thing, right? We always knew the bell curve of men because they're pretty overt and obvious with their behavior. You see the bell curve we have on the left side, the below average. We have the massive average, the bell. And then on the right side, we have the outliers, the high functioning, the geniuses, the psychopaths, those kind of people. On the left is the, mentally handicapped, etc. The middle is the average, right? For women, we didn't really have this because they kind of all like, you know, acted like society wanted them to, basically, is what it appeared like, right? I'm just generalizing. I'm no freaking doctor here. Um, so now in this society of total freedom and social media, we can see the bell curve much clearer now. That women obviously have a bell curve. They have to have one because men have one. This is the law of averages. There's going to be averages. And we can see that they for sure have a bell curve just like men of behavior. And we see the average would probably fall under more like your basic, normal female competition theory. Maybe they don't, stomp on the gas on every single woman, but they do dig in. They do sabotage, maybe a little here, that little hairdresser sabotage thing where they tell the hairdresser to cut their hair short, stuff like that. You gotta look it up. It's crazy. The hairdresser tells her client that she should cut her hair short, and that's a sabotage, right? That's one of the uh, main studies they've done with female competition theory. Then we look at the extreme with a more covert narcissism, right? Oh, okay. So now you see, like, these are the ones that step on the gas and they're redlining their competition, right? And they're just blowing stuff up, sabotaging left and right. These are the ones like, okay, so just like it's not much different than men. It's just the women are very covert about it. They're not going to fight you. They're not going to, challenge you in the street to a fight. They're going to subvert and go covert. Manipulation, you know, uh, reputation destruction, and plausible deniability. That's the move over and over and over and over again. Men men can do that too, but they generally are so overt they just challenge the fight or something like that. They won't they're not that good at the covert stuff. They're better at the overt stuff. Yeah, so I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is a difference in kind and a difference in degree, right? Because it's the same behavior. Sabotage, manipulation, plausible deniability, both narcissism and female competition theory. That's what they do, right? So they're not different kinds. One's not a personality disorder, and one's not a evolutionary behavioral thing. They're both the same thing, right? So it's just the only difference would be the difference in degree, the difference in how it's applied and how it's used. That there's no if they're both the same thing, they're both the same thing, right? How there's no way to differentiate. Oh, this sabotage was narcissistic, but this sabotage was pure evolutionary uh, biology tactic for survival. How in the hell can you tell the difference? You can't. Sabotage is sabotage, right? Yeah. So the difference in degree would be how many times does somebody use it, right? If a woman uses it only as competition, okay, then we can see She's competing. She's gonna sabotage. She's gonna take that girl out of the dating pool or whatever her mind thinks this is doing. But when the degree is like red line, you do it to everybody behind closed doors. You're okay. The degree is now you're overdoing it. You do it all the time. That would be the covert narcissist, right? But it's the same exact tactic. Yeah, and this is where the victim comes into play, right? Because the victim is not going to say, "Oh yeah, that was her evolutionary survival tactic. It's okay. She tried to take me out of the local dating pool." She's not going to say that. It's going to feel like a personal, narcissistic sabotage attack because that's what it is, right? That's what it is. It's not two different things. A psychological attack, no matter if it's from female competition theory, the evolutionary survival tactic, or if it's covert narcissism, the personality disorder, the physical attack is has the same psychological uh, outcome on the victim, right? So, who there's no way as an outside observer to point out and say, yeah, that was evolutionary, and that one over there, that one's narcissism, because the victim ain't gonna say that. The victim's gonna be like, this feels like an attack because it was. Yeah, the function is the reality. This thing is functioning in reality, and we can't tell what it is really. We just know that the function's there and is working and is doing it. And to call it one thing and to call the other attack, which is exactly the same, something else, that it doesn't it's not logically coherent. It's not. So I mean, I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying. I just it just came. This I was trying to use logic on this, and yeah, this is the pattern is kind of clear. This looks more like a spectrum than one or the other because of its features and its function. They're both identical.